POTUS Patrol, like Paw Patrol. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Well, Donald Trump hit the streets to see for himself what law enforcement is up against in his temporary hometown, our nation's capital. So he wanted to witness and observe how things are going 2 weeks after he ordered federal law enforcement to help secure the city.
Hello. It's a healthy, attractive-looking group of people. It's good. Well, I just want to thank everybody very much for being here. I wanted to do this. We've had some incredible results. The results have come out, and it's like a different place. It's like a different city. It's the capital. It's going to be the best in the world. We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital.
Well, the drop in crime is breathtaking. Since federal action began, Washington has gone 7 straight days without a single homicide, not one murder. And carjackings, which have been a huge problem here, they've plummeted 83%. Meanwhile, robberies down 46%. Car thefts have declined 21%. And violent crime overall, that's down 22%. Not bad at all. Now, if anything should be a cause for partisan celebration, shouldn't this news be it? We have lives probably saved, streets calmer, residents and tourists more at ease. Maybe people are even happier. That would be nice. Single moms who worry about their kids walking home from school? Yeah.
I think extra security is always a good thing, especially, in the metro.
I mean, if you got crime, you need police, you need extra protection out there. I don't have a problem with it.
Democrats have had decades to bring safety to our urban areas, and with few exceptions, they have failed miserably. Especially, let's face it, in the post-George Floyd era, when they joined BLM, of course, at the time, to blame police instead of blaming and going after repeat violent offenders. But now they're being exposed because Trump is showing that a more prominent police presence works to deter crime. But of course, that just makes Democrats madder. Just as they hounded Supreme Court justices, just as they harassed conservatives in restaurants and on the streets, they're shrieking at Trump officials and law enforcement just for social media clicks.
America, you have to stand up! We are dying! America is dying! We can't sit around anymore! These demons are cowards!
Nazi scum! Off our streets!
Get the out of my city!
Their parents must be so proud. Think of the college degrees among that crowd, yeah. And rather than finding ways to cooperate with the administration, Democrats are posturing.
Going to a Black woman mayor's city first, and now we are in yet another Black woman-led city and taking over. And to me, it goes again to the level of racism and hate that is constantly spewed out of this administration.
I don't think the National Guard should be used for law enforcement.
Well, regular people without partisan axes to grind see things differently.
I think it's a good thing because it actually reinforces the fact that America is secure, safe, stable. As a moderate, as a centrist, I think something needs to be done. I have 3 kids. I'm about to start teaching next week. I want it to be safe.
Look, Trump is more than anything else, he's a pragmatist. He sees a problem and he wants to find a solution, and he tweaks policies when necessary. Then he really rolls up his sleeves to try to fix it. It's really hands-on governance. For Democrats, though, it's hands-on neglect. Most of us want a president who will be there to back the cops. But the easier, less risky thing to do is just hide in the Oval Office and take meetings. Well, Biden rarely even did that. He had, obviously, zero clue about what was happening outside of the gates of the White House, but not Trump. We'll never see another like him.
So we're going to have some fun. We'll eat, and I'll eat with you, and we're going to have a little fun. We're going to celebrate, but then we're going to get back to work, and we're going to take care of these criminals. We're going to put them where they have to be. We're going to You're going to say, don't play around with us. Don't play around with us. So let's go have something to eat. You're going to like the hamburgers? Would you rather have hamburgers from the White House or pizzas from a good place, huh? I think they want the hamburgers. Have a good time, everybody.
The reaction of the National Guard and the law enforcement was just awesome. Look, contrast, though, what Democrats are doing, because they're fine with jeering law enforcement and defending criminals. It's like their favorite pastime. We all saw that what they tried to do to J.D. Vance and Hegseth at Union Station right behind us. They are also handing out hamburgers to the National Guard and soldiers. And now it's apparently a war crime to just bond with law enforcement. But Trump's A-team didn't flinch.
It's kind of bizarre that we have a bunch of old, primarily white people who are out there protesting the policies that keep people safe when they've never felt danger in their entire lives.
Yeah, he made the point that rich people rarely feel the danger that their policies cause. But he knows that they are committing political suicide.
A couple of years ago, when I brought my kids here, they were being screamed at by violent vagrants, and it was scaring the hell out of my kids. We've traded now some violent, crazy people who are screaming at kids with a few crazy liberals who are screaming at the vice president, but I think that's a very worthwhile trade to make because we want our people to be able to enjoy our beautiful cities.
Now, that line should be etched into the mind of every American. Democrats would rather side with criminals than with Donald Trump and law enforcement. But it's not just on the crime issue. Trump has had them all tied up in knots on immigration, the border, transgenderism, even peace in Ukraine. You have to ask yourself, what kind of movement is this underpinning the Democrat Party? Well, we learned in the New York Times yesterday that Democrats continue to bleed support at a staggering rate. For the first time since 2018, more new voters nationwide chose to be Republicans than Democrats last year. Democrats lost about 2.1 million registered voters. That was between 2020 and 2024. In 30 states, Republicans gained 2.4 million. So that four-year swing toward the Republicans adds up to 4.5 million voters. That is a deep political hole. Could take years for the Democrats to climb out of. So what is their answer to this? More radicalism? I mean, at this point, this is just a sickness for them. Too bad there's not an mRNA vaccine for that. This is why Trump's so transformational, isn't it? He's not just a master of policy. He's not just really good at PR and mixing it up with people. He is a master of political chess. He's always checkmating them. Remember the campaign moments?
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. I hope you enjoyed this garbage truck. Thank you very much.
Now, for doing this, he was mocked by the elites, but the Americans loved it and they got it. He respects real work. Work is dignity. And now as president, again, he's channeling that same instinct to restore law and order in the nation's capital. That is a very good thing, and that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.